Spot uranium has fallen from its peak of a few weeks ago. However, the long-term contract price is near multi-year highs, in fact, closing in on record highs. We are joined by Claudio Chiasni, portfolio manager at BlueShore Wealth Investment Advisors. He says the price is likely to continue to rise due to the risk of undersupply in this market. Claudio, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure.
I mean, there's so many strands to this, but we do know that Russia and its affiliate Kazakhstan are major players, and Western governments and companies don't like being dependent on them anymore, for one thing.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, 50% of the production of uranium is aligned with countries that do not belong to the Western world axis. So on that base alone, we can potentially have the supply shock if any of the mines in that part of the world would not be available for export of uranium. And the Western partners, such as Canada and Australia, would have to pick up the slack. So the demand side is that alone. But on top of it, it's the building of new reactors around the world. And one thing to keep in mind is that Japan is reopening to the tune of 10, 14 reactors. They've done 11 already. China is building 23 new plants. They're all in progress. And the United States, based on the restrictions of uranium, enriched uranium in trading between Russia and US, they'll have to find the supply. So I think on the demand side, we're looking pretty good.
Although Japan, I hadn't heard Japan was reopening that many reactors, but certainly China and Russia have been leading the pack in opening these opening new facilities.
Yeah, there's no doubt China is in dire need of electricity, and I think that's their most ambitious goal, to be the leader in nuclear energy in the world. And not to mention the United States. The United States, via utility companies, will have the same goal. They have to work with the need for energy that artificial intelligence is creating the present time and the future as well.
Can you tell us a bit more about the U.S. Energy Department investing in uranium enrichment?
Yeah, uranium enrichment is very interesting because once you get the mineral out of the ground, it is in its natural form. But to be able to use in reactors, it has to be enriched. And Russia has been the #1 provider of that service. However, if you look at the safety of the supply chain, the Department of Energy just applied $6.1 billion as a promissory capital investment. Part of it is contracts for the future, but the other part is just fast tracking the enriched uranium facilities in the United States. And then that's expected to go really well for the next 3 to 5 years.
Now, among stocks that you like the look of are Cameco and NextGen. Well, we will put up the chart. We know about those, though. Obviously, they are go-tos for many investors in the space. But tell us a bit, if you would, about Centrus Energy, LEU. Why do you think that stock holds promise?
Well, Centrus is exactly one of those benefactors of the U.S. Department of Energy, where there's innovation and there's accelerated path on enriching uranium in the United States, so you don't have any of the transportation cost and the supply disruption. I think Centrus is at the forefront of it, and it's not the only one. There's a couple more as well. I mean, nano-nuclear would fall in the same category, and some of them have partnerships with Cameco and other big producers, but those type of stocks would benefit from the regulations, the new incoming administration in the U.S., as well as potential mergers and acquisitions. So who knows if that sector would consolidate and translate into higher prices.
Yeah, sorry, what does nano-nuclear do?
Nanonuclear is in the same process of enriching uranium and making it available for the nuclear plants.
That's interesting. Your impression is that Mr. Trump's administration will be even friendlier to nuclear, because the Biden government has been pretty supportive of the nuclear renaissance if they can achieve it in the States.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty consistent story across the board, Canada and US, regardless of the administration. As uranium falls in that green energy space, it hasn't been looked at as similarly as oil and gas. I mean, we've seen production caps in Canada, and we've seen a whole bunch of other things in the United States with regards to pipelines and production of oil and gas. But when it comes to uranium, there has been consistent support for the space and understanding that if we are to become energy independent from all sources, nuclear energy would be at the forefront, and I can see from the new promised environment for friendlier business, the capital expenditure will be fast-tracked in the United States and Canada as well.
We'd better leave it there. Thank you very much, Claudio.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Claudio Chiasni, Portfolio Manager at BlueShore Wealth Investment Advisor.